I perceived Elizabeth still longed to see Mr. Wickham among those assembled.
Seeking the conquest of all that remained unsubdued of his heart.
Miss Bennet, might I hope for the next?
Well, I hardly think.
Do not be a simpleton and allow your friendship for Wickham to make you appear unpleasant in the eyes of a man 10 times his consequence.
Well then.
The music is well played, do you not think? It's your turn to say something now, Mr. Darcy. You spoke of the music. You ought to make some remark about the size of the room, the number of couples.
I quite assure you, whatever you wish me to say will be the same.
Then, that will do for the present. Now we may be silent.
Do you talk by the rule when you're dancing?
I have always, Mr. Darcy, seen a great similarity in the turn of our minds. We are each of an unsocial, taciturn disposition, unwilling to speak unless we believe we will say something to amaze the whole room, to be passed down to posterity with a week-long proverb.
This is no very striking resemblance to your character. How near they be to mine, I cannot pretend to say.
I had recently the pleasure of forming a new acquaintance with a childhood friend of yours, a Mr. Wickham.
Mr. Wickham is blessed with such happy manners as to ensure his making friends. Whether he is equally capable of retaining them is less certain.
He has been so unlucky as to lose your friendship, and in a manner which I might say he is likely to suffer from all his life.
What think you of books, Miss Elizabeth?
I cannot talk of books in a ballroom. My head is full of something else. I remember you saying, Mr. Darcy, that you hardly ever forgave, that your resentment once created was unappeasable. Suppose you're cautious as to its being created,
I am.
and never allow yourself to be blinded by prejudice.
May I ask to where these questions tend?
Merely to the illustration of your character. I'm trying to make it out.
And what is your success?
I do not get on at all. I hear so many accounts of you as to puzzle me exceedingly.
I can readily believe that reports may vary greatly with respect to me. And I could wish, Miss Bennet, that you would not sketch my character at present. And I have reason to fear that the performance would reflect no great credit on either. Good evening.
Mr. Darcy, you are, if I'm not mistaken, the nephew of my eminent patroness, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Thus allow me to consider that I observe the clerical office as equal in point of dignity as the highest rank in the kingdom, as long as a proper humility of behavior is at the same time maintained.
You have neglected your name, sir.
Have I?
You have.
Mr. Collins, sir.
Delighting.
Excellent. Most excellent. I have no reason, I assure you, to be dissatisfied with my reception of him. He answered me with the utmost civility, and upon the whole I am quite pleased.
Though he neglected his things.
Did he?
So, Miss Eliza, I hear you're quite delighted with the Mr. George Wickham. Oh yes, your sister Jane has been talking to me. Did you know he was the son of the late Mr. Darcy Stewart?
I believe he so asserted.
Let me recommend you, however, as a friend, not to give implicit confidence to all of his assertions. And as for Mr. Darcy using him ill, I can assure you the accusation is perfectly false. For on the contrary, Mr. Darcy has always been perfectly kind to him. mistreated Mr. Darcy in the most infamous manner. I do not know the particulars of which, but that his very being in the country at all is the most insolent thing. Though, considering his descent, one could not expect much better.
His guilt and descent appear by your accounts to be one and the same. For I've heard you accuse him of nothing worse than of being the son of Mr. Darcy's steward. And of that I can assure you he informed me himself.
Your pardon. Please excuse my interference. It's kindly done.
By heavens, you step it wonderfully.
Under your instructions, Leslie, that the marriage reached true effect is bestowed.
Miss Bingley, I'm sure I needn't enumerate to you the advantages of such a match. Mama, such an advantage living but 3 miles apart, and the comfort knowing how fond you are of Jane.
Sadly, our carriage breaks, and we must go.
It is a shame, Miss Bennet. We've footed it but once.
When at last the guests and other officers had quitted the house, Mamma spoke all the way home of preparations, new carriages, wedding clothes, and seeing Jane settled in Netherfield within 3 months. Oh, and Elizabeth's marriage to Mr. Collins as well.
Hmm.